Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing good. I got a new microphone, so hopefully you can hear me. I did test it. We're going to do the question video today, and I'm going to get into as many questions as I can. You guys have been very active. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world right now. I would say there are some big things on the horizon. It feels very, like thick. The air is thick right now. There's a lot happening, and I feel like it's a good time to take care of yourself, lay low a little bit, roll with the changes that are coming, and don't get too emotionally involved in each thing that rolls out. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and just enjoy this change that's coming. Um, it may or may not happen, like I'm saying, like things change with timelines and stuff, but at this moment, it feels quite thick and intense, like something's coming. And I've had several conversations about this today, so I just want to let you guys know as well. And we're going to get into these questions, and I do pause in between because I like to read, at least skim the questions, so I don't take as much time when I answer it. So be aware of that. And all these answers come from my higher self. So if you want to talk to your own higher self, your own soul, then on my website is what's called soul guidance. And that's an inexpensive way to be activated and to learn how to talk to your own soul and get guidance from your soul and all the answers that you need to take you forward. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to get started here. Let's find the first question. Now, the first one is, it's really about like keeping up on maintenance things that we do for the doctor. So this is from Louise, and she's in her 80s, and she's kind of realized that a lot of stuff is more for corporate business, even medical things, than it is for her own well-being necessarily. So what do I say about that? First thing, I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to cure any diseases. What I'm doing is I'm taking care of myself, basically, when it comes to a lot of the maintenance. So I'm learning about new things that may help me. Maybe it's a water pick for my teeth. Maybe it's a new toothpaste, that kind of stuff. If there's an issue, then I'll go and see the dentist. If there's not, I'm not going to worry about it. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing for myself at the moment. So whatever you're moved to do, that's what you should do. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. And that's how I'm operating. Okay, so this is a very important question, and it comes from Debbie. And there's a lot of words in there, but basically she did some research on Timothy Hutton and the last Mimsy movie, and then a series that Timothy did that had to do with a lot of quantum type stuff. So the question is, are we going to have a whole lot of patents, and you know the ones I'm talking about, there's about 6,000 of them, be released to the public? Are those things actually going to be coming out now? Yes. So what I would call the Chevron case, and I don't know how many times I'm going to say that, but that case going through being overturned, that is massive. And I think it has been overturned for a while, actually. So that case ending, or whatever the principle was behind it ending, it basically brought the power back to the people. So if you have an invention now is the time to bring it out. It's safe now, basically, is what I get out of it. And all those patents that have been hidden, I think that they've already been, in the process of being built, a lot of them. So there's a whole lot of stuff, not just trains underground, but a whole lot of other things that are coming out, and they're going to come out very rapidly. So there's been a lot of behind the scenes actions going on for the good of humanity. So as things fall apart, there is a backup plan. There is things that have been put in place for a very long time. I'll say at least like a couple of years, but they've been worked on for a very long time in secret. So we're going to be surprised, I think, at how amazing it really is. So great question, Debbie. Thank you. Okay, so this is from Violet, and I'm going to show you guys some pictures and talk about them a little bit because they remind me of a lot of the clouds that I'm seeing here in Colorado, and we're next to a mountain range. So a lot of activity happens inside the mountain range. A lot of flat bottomed clouds are a little suspicious to me as far as like, is that a craft or not? They don't feel as natural to me. And then if you look at these little gray clouds right in front of this other cloud, that almost always screams ET, especially if the edge of the gray cloud is darker. Started noticing these over a year ago. And we see this quite a bit where we're at, something like this. Like clouds will only be over the top of the mountains and they will just sit there all day. And I do think that that is a craft right here. So just start noticing the clouds. It's kind of fun. If you're with somebody who's not going to believe you, then, just keep it to yourself. But most of us have ETs following us around. And ETs are everywhere. So there's more ETs than there are clouds in the sky. That's what I will say. They are everywhere. And they're closer than ever. So they used to sit further out from us because our vibration was so intensely like low. I don't want to say low, but it was lower than they could handle. And now we are vibrating higher and higher, so they are closer and closer. So we're getting ready for something really fun with the ETs. I think we're going to see them soon. Okay, so this is from Pamela. Her husband is 64. He's lost a tremendous amount of weight. They're worried that he's just like disappearing. His body has just gotten so much thinner. He's just over 100 pounds and he used to be over 200. So what is going on with him? I feel like he needs to have a nutrition panel from a naturopathic doctor. There is something nutritionally that he is lacking and it feels like a mineral. It could be copper. But also he's not getting enough food either for some reason. So he's expending more energy than he's taking in. And I think the ascension process, he's not keeping up with it as far as he's not eating enough food. So he needs really healthy, nutrient-dense food, especially good fats, I would say. But I would take him to a naturopathic doctor, get everything checked out, and maybe do a parasite cleanse too. Have them check for parasites and nutrition. That's what I would say. And I'm not a doctor and I don't claim to cure any diseases, but if you need a doctor, I would go to a naturopathic MD first because they can do all of the tests, but you're going to get a lot more time spent with you and a lot more information. And the medication is going to be beneficial to the body. So there's also functional medicine doctors, and they're very good as well. Um, but if you can find a naturopathic MD, they have a tremendous amount of training on how to do things naturally. So I would probably at this point go see one. Okay, so this is from Carrie, and she's asking, when will med beds be available for free all over the world? Um, there are a lot of them already in hospitals now, and I feel like in some of the clinics as well. When is up to us, like as a group. When everything falls, then they'll be available. Giving dates doesn't work anymore. It's all about vibration. It's about what are we ready for? What's humanity ready for? We do feel quite close, so keep that in mind, but do other things in the meantime that are still to do with frequency. There's a lot of frequency stuff that you guys can do. There's light therapy. Um, there are certain things you can do for your whole system. You can go see a naturopathic doctor, like whatever's going on with you. You can go and you can ground, you can stand on the earth and pull in energy that way. You can look up the earthing. If you don't feel you can afford to go somewhere, but whatever you do things that are kind and good for your body, and talk to your body right now. You can get a lot done if you just talk to your body and if you heal your traumas, because a lot of illness is, mainly all illness, is linked to some sort of trauma. So just do that kind of thing in the meantime, but I can't give you an exact date. Okay, the other question is, do angels and archangels work through people? Angels, yes. Archangels, not as much. They will pop in and help you, like when you're in like a serious issue is going on with you. They'll pop in if you ask them to. They'll pop in and answer a question. A lot of people will take on an angelic soul for a little while, maybe not permanently, but you know, they're everywhere, really. And if someone allows it, they'll pop into their body. So like a homeless person, I think that happens a lot. People that they've kind of cracked open their energy field, they're receiving all kinds of beings in and out of their body. Angelics are one of those beings. And an angelic will also inspire someone to say something to you, almost like a channeling if you need help with something. They do embody, though. They do come in, and I wouldn't say there's a whole lot of them, but they do come in and they actually just are here incarnated. So that happens too, but it's just more rare. And that was from Carrie. And we're going to go to Rochelle next. And okay, so I'm going to read this to you guys. When I was 8, I died for 5.5 minutes and had an NDR. So I don't know, near death experience. That doesn't fit. So maybe do not resuscitate. Anyway, ever since then, whenever I'm in imminent danger, I leave my body and I go back in once the event is over, like a car accident. So like if she had a car accident, she would leave her body and then go back in later. She's also had an electrical shock. So electrocution. Is she teleporting? No, um, kind of. So she learned when she was 8 how to basically leave the body for trauma and then show back up again when it was over. So you could say you're teleporting, but really you're just like the soul is going, no, I don't want to experience that, leaves the body and comes back. Now, I don't feel like this is going to continue, like you're going to keep experiencing um, issues that will require your soul, because your soul has just been like, no, I'm out, peace out. And honestly, that's totally fair, but the soul is also partially responsible for the body. So that's a back and forth thing. You could, it's up to you what you do, but you learned it when you were 8. So you basically learned how to do it. Um, and you saw your body as a magenta vibrating liquid during the electrical incident, um, vibrating super fast before you went back in. I feel like you actually vibrated out some of the trauma before you went back in. And you could also see the energy vibrating. So that's pretty intense. And you have really good telepathy. So the telepathy is your gift. The teleporting is something that you learned. You're a very old soul. Magical. So we're all magical in different ways, but you're magical when it comes to travel. And why do you hold your breath? So when you are leaving the body, it's one of the things that you learned. So when you leave the body, you just stop breathing. Like it's like a freeze. So that's part of it. And I feel like you've been doing that, whether you leave the body or not. Now, I will say too that there's been a thing with breathing lately since we started ascending. We're not breathing in the normal way anymore. At least I've noticed it. Like I won't breathe consistently, and then all of a sudden it's like, this massive breath comes in. So I don't know. I feel like it's part of the resetting of the body, but I remember like a year ago, probably when that started happening, and I was very like freaked out by it. I was like, what is going on? But it's just part of it. So if you notice that about yourself, oh, I forgot to breathe, it's just because we're resetting. Now, if you have some kind of issue at night with your breathing, that's a whole nother thing, and you may want to get help for that. So keep that in mind. Okay, so this next question is from Kathy. Her dog, Chloe May, died suddenly, like for no reason. So she's really concerned that she has something on her property that caused that. I don't get that you do. I feel like this was like something that was going on with the dog for a long time, and she had another task to do, and she just left, like, and the body went with her. Like, there was nobody to walk in. Um, there was something wrong with her system. And it feels like it had been going on for over a year, but it wasn't something that was easily noticed. So it was a long thing, even though it didn't look like it. So as far as bringing your puppy back to the house, I feel like it's fine. So tap into that yourself, use your pendulum or whatever you use and see how you feel about it. But I don't feel like it was some kind of thing that was laying around the house or around the property. It feels like the dog had been sick for quite a while. but it was like a silent thing. It wasn't very easy to notice. So anyway, that's what I'm getting about it. And I'm sorry about your dog. Okay, so this is from Shar, and she's had a hard time with her daughter. They're both very spiritual, and there was an event that caused her to lean on her daughter's gifts more than her own. Um, and her daughter feels very put upon. So she's apologized, but the relationship is still kind of awkward. So what I'm getting is to basically tell her everything. So if you want to repair the relationship, she needs to know all the reasons why you did it. And that basically comes down to not trusting your own gifts. So thinking that someone outside of yourself has stronger gifts, but that's because you haven't cultivated yours, because her gifts came from you. So those are genetic line gifts. It doesn't feel like it's something that has to do with the souls as much as the genetic line. So really, talking to her about it and being really honest, I think is important about your own feelings and about your own dysfunction. So people have had dysfunction after dysfunction. We've all gone through it, and we've had parents with dysfunction and ourselves with dysfunction. And now's the time to heal that. So admitting that there's an issue, and even if you've worked through it, admitting what it was down to the very honest points is important. And I think that will bring forgiveness, but also actions will bring forgiveness, which are to not lean on her anymore for that kind of thing. And also realize that maybe she needs you for healing as well. And ask, is there something I can do for you? Because I feel like I took advantage or went too far with my needs because I didn't believe in myself. So we've all had that stuff happen, but you have realized it, which is amazing. And forgive yourself first, and then go and talk to her in a really honest way about what happened. Okay, so this is from Mike, and it's an awesome cloud. So what is it? This is a dragon spirit, and I want to talk about the dragons just for a little minute here while we're looking at this. A lot of dragons are really getting antsy to be back and to be more involved. So some dragons have incarnated into humans. Some have walked in at this point. Not a whole lot, but a few. And they're kind of prepping right now because remember, we're going to have a much more magical place that we're in. And they're going to want to have bodies again. And they're going to want to have their normal, kind of bodies. They're going to be slightly different than before, but they will still look like dragons. So yeah, this comes in as a dragon in flight. Very cool. So that's a lot of fun. Thank you, Mike. Okay, so this is a great question. This is from Tony. So how will it be to communicate with a pet that has passed over, or a relative that has passed over, or a friend, a human being? How will it feel and how will it work? Okay, so it's going to get easier and easier. At first, I think it will just be like voice. You'll hear something. And if you're claircognizant or clairaudient, I feel like it'll be pretty easy. Also, if you're clairvoyant, you'll be able to see them. So go look up the Claires if you're interested in that. But eventually we will realize that they're all around us all the time, and we'll be able to communicate with them. We'll be able to telepathically communicate. We'll be able to see them. They're going to look almost like watery. So kind of like a ghost would look, because they won't have a body, but they'll still have a projected form. So they'll be able to change what they look like, and that will depend on who they're talking to. So let's say that this soul was your grandmother, then to you, it will look like your grandmother. But say in another lifetime, she was somebody's, I don't know, mother, and that person will see them in a different form. Or maybe she was, a man. So however you want to perceive them, you will, and you're going to be able to talk to them. And eventually, we're just going to see the soul. We'll just see, this is the soul that's in this being, even with people who have a body. And this is the human consciousness, and this is what they feel like. This is who they are. They're part of my soul family. They're part of the Pleiadian soul family. They're a fairy. They're this, they're that. And their intentions are this. So eventually it will go that far. But it's a gradual unfolding. And I definitely would go ahead and communicate with people now that you miss, and dogs and cats and all the pets. Okay, so I have another message in here that I want to just address. I will not reach out to you for crypto or any kind of thing. There is somebody that got a hold of my name and attached it to Gmail. So there is a askhoneycgolden at Gmail. That's a scammer. So keep that in mind. Just because they wanted to use my name. So be aware of that. Be aware of people that reach out to you and ask you to contact them. The lower parallels are in their ego freak out stage right now, and their behavior is quite bad. So I noticed that this started popping up again, I would say a couple of weeks ago. So just be really aware of it. And some of the platforms that I'm on, they're trying to do a lot of scamming. So just keep an eye out. I will not ask you to contact me directly ever. So if you contact me, then you're contacting me, but I will not ask you to do so. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so here's another question about med beds. How do you reach out for help with them? So here's what I'm getting. With all those patents being released, there's going to be many different kinds of frequency things. However, I think that the med beds are already in place for most cities. Like there's a place for them. Not everybody's going to be excited about them to begin with, because there's a small group of us that have heard about it and been following that, but we're going to be excited. And I think they'll come out with some kind of announcement, like it's a new technology. And they're going to be probably, so how does that going to go? At the moment, what I'm getting is they're going to ask for volunteers. So people that are ill to go in and test them out. There is going to be a lot of people getting counseling and different things. And they'll probably start with people that are in the hospital already, asking them if they want to try it. The word will get around very quickly, and you'll be able to make an appointment just directly wherever you live. And it will be free. I get there's going to be like a voucher. So just wait and see how it unfolds in your city. You'll know very quickly. Every county will have several. So even in a county like mine, there's still hospitals, even though it's a really small county. And there will be probably at least 3 med beds, even a small place. So everything's very elastic right now. So those kind of questions, like they could change, they could shift very quickly. But I do get that they're already there, and it's just a matter of when they're going to release the information. And it'll probably happen along with the medical community being in trouble. So keep that in mind. And it's going to be the people that have been following that technology for a long time that are going to get in there faster, because other people will be more ambivalent to even try it. And it could be announced by the government, you know, the new government, that they are now available. But I really feel like there's not going to be a whole lot of takers at first. So you could get in there very quickly. So just keep that in mind, you guys, and whatever frequency medicine you can use now, do it, including going and just putting your feet in the dirt. Yeah, because that's really helpful. Okay, and I just saw another question about them. Someone has been asked to pay $300 for access to a med bed. That does feel like a scam to me. And beware of them right now, because people are desperate, and in the lower timelines, they're desperate to be healed and they're desperate for money. So your body can hang on for a very long time as long as you are helping your body every day with the right nutrition, with grounding, with taking care of yourself. I would not pay to hop into one because I don't think that that's real. So I don't think anybody's going to have to pay anything. Okay, so I'm going to answer this last one, and then I'll probably do another one. I don't know, I might start doing them a little more often, but just be aware that not all the questions will get answered. This is from Donald, and he is asking, what about the people who choose not to ascend into the 5D? If they're unable to hold that frequency. So if they're unable to hold the frequency, then there's more that needs to be healed. So there is a window of time. So this window began in 2020 and it ends in 2027. Right now, I'm getting that it ends at the beginning of 2027, but before this, it was at the end of 2027. So it's a little elastic when it's ending because we have sped up right now. So humanity is speeding up. The frequency outside of us is supporting healing right now. That window of time is when you need to make the decision of, am I ascending or not? And you could be in the lowest parallel and still ascend in your body if you're willing to heal. So really, it's just about healing your traumas. And I do have the Journey to You, which is all about healing all the traumas and basically letting go of the ego. So it's trauma healing from your soul perspective, your inner child perspective, and your genetic perspective, and exercises on how to continue to do that through the month. So it is a monthly thing that you do, and it has different aspects that you're healing. So that because it could be too much if you try to do all of that in a month. But be aware that there's people out there that are helping you guys do that. You can make an appointment. I have individual people that I recommend. I don't do individual appointments anymore because I do a lot more content. And the things that I do are more self-driven for healing, but there's a lot of healing out there available right now. So really, ascension and vibration just is how willing are you to heal yourself? How willing are you to look inside yourself and heal? And that person that you're talking about has plenty of time to work on themselves. And I mean, if you had a contract that you are ascending in your body and you were holding back the healing, you would have a massive healing event. So just keep that in mind. And I would definitely not hold back on healing because it makes you miserable. So heal your stuff. We are the ones that are healing the parallels, the genetic lines, our current lifetime, all of that stuff is being healed right now. And we are the ones that are doing it. So be brave, I would say. Realize that you're worth it. Know how much you matter and work on yourself as we go through this process because your vibration, it spreads out exponentially. And we are doing a lot for the world just by healing ourselves. And our vibration is changing everything, you guys. So, anyway, have a fabulous day. Have a fabulous time watching things unfold. And I will talk to you very soon. Okay. I'm sending you all a lot of love. Take care of yourselves. Bye.